Hey guys, welcome back to Starcastic Remarks. Along with my brother Christian, I am Ryan, and we are talking about the Stars' 4-2 loss this evening to the Chicago Blackhawks. And Chris, I'm at a loss for words at this point. I don't know what to think. I don't know what to say. Make some sense of this for me.
Yep. This game is like the most extraordinary game I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, it seems like every chance the Hawks had, they put in the back of the net, and the Stars couldn't buy one. I don't know what happened. The refs sucked. Like, was it 10 minor penalties in this game?
5 for each side, yep.
Are you kidding me? That's ridiculous. And that was with nothing in the third period, pretty much. So, like, that's embarrassing. The Stars' power play sucked. 5 power plays, no goals. The penalty kill was bad. 2 power play goals against them.
And then Dobby.
And then Dobby sucked.
It was just... I think you hit the points right there. That's the game right there. Special teams and goaltending. And when the Stars play 5-on-5, we win the game. It seems like. But, so if we had played 5-on-5 the entire game, it would have been 2-2 at the end of the game.
At least.
So,
But 10 power plays between the two teams. That's not normal. Like, that is a poorly officiated game by the refs. That sucks. All of the penalties were ticky-tacky nothing calls. It sucked. The refs sucked. They made the pace of they made the pace of play horrible. 10 power plays. A third of the game on special teams.
Well,
that's ridiculous.
Less when you consider they scored 2 goals on 5 power plays. But
it's an embarrassing product, honestly, for the NHL to put out. 10 power plays. It sucks. That's stupid.
And I didn't feel like there were a lot of plays that should have been called, right?
Yeah,
Am I wrong?
Most of them shouldn't. Like, you could easily have 4 this game. 4 power plays between both teams. And you would have been fine. There's no reason to call that many penalties. And it's been happening all season. Like, I don't know what's up with it, but it's obnoxious.
Well,
the refs should be ashamed.
Well, I just felt like we outplayed them, especially in the first 40 minutes. Especially the first 40 minutes. And we just weren't getting rewarded with the play that we had. And, typically when you're the team that's playing better, you're going to get those extra chances, right? I mean, if you're spending more time in the offensive zone, you're going to get more power plays because naturally you're going to be pressuring the other team more, and they're going to be taking more penalties. But it just didn't seem to be the fact today. And
because the refs sucked.
So the refs sucked, and yeah, we could call it ticky-tacky penalties and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, the refs are going to do what the refs do, and you have to figure out a way to win a hockey game.
Yeah, that gets into the next point. Like, at some point, someone's got to decide to score a goal. Right? Like, on the Stars. Someone has to say, okay, this is my puck, I'm going to put it in the back of the net. That's what's going to happen right now. And used to be, that was Jamie Benn's job all day. We would say, okay, there's Beast Mode Ben trying to change the game by putting a puck in the net when we had no business scoring a goal. Right?
Right.
And this game, Jamie Benn sucked. He wasn't just a non-factor, he was terrible. I saw him out there at the end of the game, and I was like, I don't want him out there. He was turning over pucks, making terrible passes, making bad plays all around. Jamie Benn was not a good hockey player tonight. He was really bad.
Well, it's just really frustrating when you look at the shots for the evening, right? So Dallas outshoots the Blackhawks almost 2-1, so 30-16 in shots, right? But it's even worse when you look after 2 periods of play. So after 2 periods of play, the Stars are out shooting the Blackhawks 22-8, and we're losing 4-0. And Chicago had 4 shots in the first, 4 in the second, and 3 of the 4 shots were goals for the Chicago Blackhawks. I don't know what to say.
Yeah, this game is crazy. I don't know what the heck happened. I know Jamie Benn sucked. I know our penalty kill sucked. I know our power play sucked. And not even just the numbers for the power play. Like, if you watch those power plays, they have no idea what they're trying to do. There's no goal in mind other than, oh, let's just score. There's not a certain pass they're trying to make. There's not a certain shot they're trying to get to. It's just, let's pass the puck around, and when someone decides to shoot, we'll shoot and try and score. It really seems ridiculous. The power play looks like it has no function to it. It seems like our entries are the worst. Our entries are terrible. It's just... The power play has been bad, and this just showcased it. Against a bad penalty kill, too.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Aren't they the worst penalty kill in the league, and you can't score a goal?
I don't know if they're the worst, but they did say on the broadcast in the third period that out of the 5 worst penalty kills in the NHL, 4 of them are in the Central Division, and Chicago is one of those 4. So I really don't have an answer right now.
What needed to happen is someone needed to score at least in the second period. Someone had to decide to score a goal, and nobody would do it. Nobody would drive the net hard enough to just demand a goal. They kept on trying to make the pretty goal, trying to get a good shot. There was no garbage goals trying to go on. I mean, give it up to their goalie. He played well, but he didn't make any spectacular saves. Like,
well, and it goes back to
take over the game.
It goes back to this thing that we just make goalies look good.
Yeah,
and are we just are we just making goalies look good, or are we? Or are the goaltenders really just that good that we face? I don't have any answers. I really don't, Chris.
Yeah. It's just so strange because, like, it feels like they were massively outplayed even when we were down 4-0. We're down 4-0, and we feel like we should be winning the game. And that's crazy. I've never heard of something like that ever happening in a hockey game. I've never seen a hockey game like that.
Well, I mean, unfortunately, you talked about it, and the special teams were 1/3 of the game. 20 minutes and penalties.
Yeah.
Obviously we had the 5-on-3, and then Chicago scored on some of them. But when you can't play well in 1/3 of the hockey game, when it's special teams like that, you're not going to win the game. And this goes back to the whole you got to play a full 60 minutes. And the Stars have proven they can play 5-on-5. Now they either have to just not take penalties at all, which is not going to happen. You're going to take penalties no matter what because the refs are going to call penalties regardless. Okay, even if it's 1 or 2 in a game, it's going to happen. And when you're letting in 2 out of 5, you're letting in 2 goals out of 5. And you can't win a hockey game like that. And I felt okay after the first period because I was just like, okay, that was just a fluke. They scored on the power play. Whatever. It's 1-0. Well, it wasn't a power play goal. Whatever. It's 1-0, and we can come back from that because we're playing really well. But when you take penalty after penalty after penalty and you can't stop the shots, and you can't block the shots, and our goaltender can't see it to save the puck, then you're not going to win the hockey game. Plain and simple, that's what it is.
Yeah, I mean, Dobby definitely sucks. What do you end up with? Like, literally a 500 save percentage on 8 shots?
Yeah, he let in 4 goals out of 8 shots. And he had a 500 save percentage for the evening.
That's pretty unbelievable. I mean, you can't point to one goal and be like, oh, that goal sucked, but, like, eventually you got to save one. Like, come on.
Well, and maybe this goes back to the way that, and I hate to say it, but it's the way the refs called the game. Just ticky-tacky, stupid plays, I mean, call the obvious ones, but especially in a game when you feel like there's one team that's way outplaying the other, and you're going to make a factor out of the game by you calling penalties against a team who is playing better than the other team.
Yeah, and Chicago's obviously diving all over the ice. Like, there's multiple times you see, like, whoa, looks like that guy's never skated a day in his life. He got pushed down so easily. Like, literally, that's what it felt like. Like, their skate would get brushed barely, and they would go down. It makes hockey look stupid when you're calling that many penalties. Like, hockey's supposed to be a grindy, tough man's game, and one of the biggest things in this game was, can we get a call? And that was a huge part of it, and that's how the Hawks blew up what was a fluky lead into a 4-goal lead, because they were getting those calls on those embellishment, and the refs weren't doing anything about it.
Well, it just seemed like that everything that was going in for us on Tuesday just kind of disappeared for this game. And no puck luck. Penalty kill absolutely sucked it up. I mean, I don't know.
The biggest issues we've had were amplified in this game. We can't score goals, and our special teams suck. And amazingly, we can massively outplay them 5-on-5 and somehow lose this game just because of that, because of the way the game was officiated and how we just couldn't score a goal. We couldn't buy one. So, strange hockey game.
Again, this goes back to the Stars just have to do it. I mean, they have to find a way to dig themselves out of this hole, and so far this season they have not been able to do that. And what's so frustrating about this is this was a must-win game for the Stars. Like, they had to win.
That's must-win as the early season game you get, yeah.
Right. But it finally looked like they were, getting a turning point in this season. They've played really well the past 4 games, and this game included, making it 5. And we just hadn't been rewarded for our play. But what's holding us back, it seems like there's one thing every single game that seems to be holding us back. And tonight it was special teams and goaltending. And if you don't have those 2 things, you're not going to win the hockey games. Maybe it's not Bones, maybe it's the assistant coaches. Because the assistant coaches are the ones that run the special teams part of the team. So the penalty kill
Bones
needs to be
have
figured out.
No say in that, though.
Right, exactly. I know what you're saying, but I don't know what the answer is here, Chris. Let's take a look at some stats. We already talked about the shots on goal, and that was really frustrating. We talked about power play. We talked about the power plays that Chicago went 2 for 5. We went 0 for 5, and that was the difference in the game.
10 power plays.
Yeah.
10. Those are the only penalty minutes. 20 penalty minutes, all minor penalties. That's crazy, dude. That is amazing. This game is just such a statistical anomaly. It's insane. The stats show that we won the game easily. It's crazy. I have no idea. What happened.
Yeah. So, and then in the face-off circle percentages tonight, Stars again. They look pretty good. 54-46 in the face-off circle. And that's not as big an advantage as it was last game, but still good. And Stars out hit 25-15. Blackhawks block more shots than the Stars, 20-11, and the giveaways were pretty even. Stars led in that category, 9-8. So there's really not much to talk about with this game just because of how awkward it was. The fact that we felt like we should have been leading after the first period and even the second period. But the Stars can't seem to figure out, it's always one thing or another with this team. They just can't figure out their special teams, or goaltending lets them down, or, whatever. At this point, I don't care who seems like they're playing better. You alternate the goaltenders.
Yeah.
I feel like at this point. So even if you think that they look good, that the previous game, you throw the other goaltender in, because that seems to be the only way that we're going to get out of this funk, at least to get some sort of help with goaltending. Because Dobby did not look very good tonight, and Ottinger on Sunday, there were a couple of those goals that I felt he might have been able to get, but maybe it's just a mindset factor. New goaltender, and maybe the Stars will play better in front of them. So, were there any
That's all I got.
Were there any Stars forwards that you saw that you thought had a decent game?
I mean, Hintz still looked good, like he has been. It still didn't look like he was hurt. He took a pretty big hit and he looked fine, so I was very happy with that. So, I'm gonna say Hintz. He was great.
Yeah, it looked like Hintz. Didn't he take a big hit towards the end of the second and then left the second period?
Yeah.
And then came back in the third.
That was kind of weird, though. It felt like that was, like, maybe even like an equipment issue. I don't even know if that was really injury, but who knows.
Yeah. Yeah, so.
And I also thought Robertson played well without the puck. He skated around really well. He made decent defensive plays. He was moving the puck well in the offensive zone. No points tonight, but I thought he was good.
Well, he very nearly led the Stars with time on ice tonight. So he had 21 minutes and 5 seconds, which that's a outstanding stat considering the only person that had more ice time than you was Joe Pavelski. So that's saying something about some of the people that need to be doing better. I mean, Kiviranta looked okay tonight. Gary Onoff still can't buy a goal to save his life. John Klingberg continues his tear. He scores a goal tonight. And then same with Alexiak. Alexiak has an assist tonight, so he looked good as well. And then one of the players that I thought looked fairly decent today in the game was actually Nick Camano. Nick Camano had several plays, especially in the third period, that I thought he made some very good defensive plays. And he also had a couple of penalties drawn. So,
who didn't draw a penalty this game?
Well, I guess that's a good way to look at it. But I guess we'll cut it off there because there's not really much to talk about just because of how terrible the game was officiated and the fact that the Stars just can't figure out special teams and goaltending.
Not even terribly officiated, like they blew calls. It was like
just ticky-tacky
calls. No reason to call it like a basketball game, which is what it was. It was a basketball game out there. One little thing, and if someone fell on the ground, you were called. It was nuts.
Yeah. Well, this episode, I'm gonna entitle "Special Teams and Goaltending." I'm just gonna put it in caps because that's it. That's the whole issue.
Jamie Benn has sucked the past few games, and he's still sucked today.
I don't know what it is with him, and if this is his decline from his 30-goal seasons, 20-goal season, yeah, it's a huge cliff, and I
was hoping it was a ditch, but nope, it's a cliff.
It's a cliff, yeah. All right, thank you guys for listening in this evening. Stars lose tonight by a final score of 4-2 to the Chicago Blackhawks. Hopefully we do better. I mean, I don't know what else to say. This was a must-win game for the Stars, it felt like. Follow us on Twitter at StarcasticR and on Instagram at Starcastic Remarks Podcast. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and then also like us on the other thing that I always say.
Yeah, the other ones.
Sorry, I'm not in the right mindset right now because I'm a little sad, a little disheartened.
Frustrated.
Yep. We'll catch you guys again on Saturday and Sunday where the Stars are going to be taking on the Columbus Blue Jackets up in Columbus at Nationwide Arena. Until then, we'll catch you guys on the flip side. Good night.